So I was thinking that after this huge German review about a romantic trash film from the 70s, we do something short, snappy, and brutal. And so I thought, maybe this is the best time for the first top 10 list we're doing here on the Movie Void. And all this time, I have been looking at other top 10 lists about this topic I'm doing today. And I've gotten so pissed off at so many reviewers. And today is finally the day I can take revenge and tell you people what the fuck I think. It's one of those topics that create enormous controversy. Like, everybody gets pissed off if somebody does a top 10 like this. It's a classic pissed off one. I am talking about Hello everybody and welcome to the Movie Void, where we review whatever the fuck we feel like reviewing. Today we are doing the 10 worst horror movie remakes ever.
Anyway, how is your sex life?
Oh, I can already see the comments. How did that movie end up on the list? Blah 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 blah. Oh, I'm looking forward to it. You have no idea. I'm not going to say too much about this, because, like, we all know that, like, remakes are the biggest shit at the moment. And they've been the biggest shit, like, for the last 20 years. I personally really enjoy remakes from, like, really old stuff, like, stuff that was, like, in the 50s and the 40s that you can only find in black and white. Those are the perfect movies to remake. With today's technology, you can do so much more. But then again, you have these lazy remakes and everything. So I'm not going to babble a lot about this. Let's just take a look at what the worst 10 horror remakes ever were, in my opinion, not yours. Number 10, the Mother's Day Remake 2010. Now, don't get me wrong, this movie is also very low on the list. Because I think it's not like a bad movie in general on its own. Standing on its own, it's actually pretty decent. It has some good characters, it has a solid plot. Nothing special, it just ain't bad on its own. The fact that they are trying to sell it as a remake of the 1980s classic Mother's Day is what makes it a little fucked up. Because, come on. When you're expecting a remake of the 1980s Mother's Day, which is like a film that falls into the category of exploitation films, like I Spit on Your Grave, or like Cannibal Holocaust, or Ilza, you're expecting a lot of gore, you're expecting demented characters, you're expecting something totally freaky. And instead you're getting like this totally solid, slick-looking film. And you're expecting a lot of guts and gore and a lot of violence, and you're not getting any of that at all. While the original is about 3 girls doing a reunion from their high school and getting kidnapped by 2 retarded brothers who are trying to please their demented mother, this one is actually just about a home invasion. There's 2 brothers who want to do a bank robbery. It goes wrong. One of them gets shot. They go to their old house where they used to live, thinking that their mother still lives there, only to find out that there are new owners. And then they invite their mother, and all hell breaks loose. And the thing is, the whole entire thing like would have stopped, but it's about like them having sent money to their mother that the mother never received, and she wants to find out who has the money, and people start dying. But it's nothing. It's absolutely nothing compared to the freakiness of the 1980s classic. So even though this ain't really a bad movie, it's just not a good remake, because it really has hardly anything to do with the 1980s original film. Number 9. Total Recall, the 2012 edition. You don't replace Arnold Schwarzenegger with Colin Farrell. You just don't do that. Arnold Schwarzenegger was what gave this movie its comic relief, what made this totally spacey situation, this like out of mind plot work. It was so freaky because we had Arnold Schwarzenegger in it. He was the one who like made you believe that this was happening. With Colin Farrell being all serious and practically all the funniness of the original Total Recall being gone, you're somehow lost. It doesn't really feel like what it's supposed to be. It just like feels like one of those totally serious sci-fi movies, which I think Total Recall was never really supposed to be. And the fact that this movie is a lot shorter than the original film, a lot of the plot feels forced in. It feels very rushed. A lot of the characters, you don't understand why they're doing what they're doing. You also get very confused because they give you a lot of information at the same time. It's very hard to follow generally. Like, the 90s version was just like perfect in its structure. And I'm not saying the remake wasn't necessary. It just maybe needed a different approach. I don't know. Without Colin Farrell, that's for sure. Number 8. Stepfather 2009. Another situation where the casting has gone remarkably wrong. The original has some of the creepiest performances by Terry O'Quinn. He systematically gains the trust of a mother and her daughter, and then goes totally ballistic on them. The scariness in the original really comes from the acting. Terry O'Quinn is fucking freaky. And in this remake, we have Dylan Walsh being the stepfather. I'll get back to that later. Who generally is just looking good, is acting calm, and is never really the scary person in this movie. He's way too slick, he's way too fly, he's way too normal. And what I mentioned before, stepfather. This guy, he never becomes the stepfather. He's actually only engaged in this movie. I mean, you could have just like went right ahead and called it the fiancé. And furthermore, it's also like an entirely different family with totally different names. Where also, you're not really doing a remake here. You're actually even
text message from them.
You might be doing a sequel. Really? Or like Stepfather, the new generation or something like that. This is also a movie where they tried to get younger audiences into the movie theaters and went for the PG-13 rating, where an R rating would have really been more appropriate. And so we hardly get any big kills, we don't get any blood, we don't get any gore. We just get a bunch of stupid jump scares. You know, loud noises and actually nobody actually being there. The exact shit that is killing horror movies these days. And sure, the dialogue in the original is cheesy as fuck, but at least it's entertaining. Here it just bores you out of your fucking mind. Number 7. The Shining from 1997. Yes, people, some of you don't even know this exists. But Stephen King was very unsatisfied with the Stanley Kubrick version of The Shining.
I have a real problem with The Shining, and Stanley Kubrick knew that I had a problem with The Shining. I had a discussion with him beforehand. He said, "Stephen, Stanley Kubrick here. Don't you agree that all stories of ghosts are fundamentally optimistic?"
He was so unsatisfied with it that he decided to do a new version on his own. He thought Stanley Kubrick's version wasn't a proper adaptation of the book, so he decided to make a more detailed, longer version. And you instead just get a 6-hour TV movie done in a Lifetime movie style.
Hey, sport. I'll be back.
Where, like, the characters are totally unconvincing, the acting is god-awful, the effects are cheap as fuck. it is just like painful to watch because you have this amazing version from Kubrick in your head the whole time while you're watching it, and you're like, what the fuck is this shit? It's just like
Did she have nice hedges, Daddy?
somebody eating something that Gordon Ramsay prepared and is thinking, oh my god, I can do this much better with ingredients for 50 cents. Like, with the cheapest ingredients I can find, and then brings the schlock on the table, and it's just all crap.
I am shitting myself.
So, really stay away from this. It's boring as fuck, and it leads nowhere. It just, like, makes something as perfect as The Shining just be a very, very, very sad something. I respect Mr. King a lot, so no harm done, but what the fuck was he thinking when he was doing this? Number 6, Quarantine. Quarantine is a remake of the Spanish film Rec. While Rec is like incredibly gritty and dark and feels very organic, it feels very real. It's like one of the best found footage style movies I can remember. This one is really like, again, the problem when Hollywood wants to remake a foreign film. They put way too much money into the production, they make it all look way too nice, and it is just done too perfectly. The lighting is way too unreal for the situation we're experiencing here. It's about a news reporter who wants to follow a bunch of firefighters, simply, and ends up in a building where a zombie virus has appeared, and she doesn't even realize what's going on until the whole entire place is put into quarantine. And it's not like you can really like feel the fear in the original film. You believe what's happening, and here it's just like, you know, the problem with most Hollywood movies, you can't really grasp it. I always ask myself this: why is it when American directors do remakes of foreign films, they feel the need to tune down the violence? You can't really feel with the character because she's not really normally presented. You don't really like have a sense of what kind of a person she really is. She seems way too linear, too much black and white. There's no gray. There's way too much suspense, grittiness, and darkness of the original film taken away in Quarantine to make this be a good movie, and it's actually a big disappointment because somewhere it totally had potential to be its own real cool thing. Number 5, Cabin Fever 2016. Oh my fucking god. I have never in my life seen such a lazy fucking remake.
Я тоже, может, хочу шоколад, блин. Задумала, блин. Мне тоже шоколад.
It's so fucking lazy. First of all, they just go with the same script of the original. They don't even try to add and bring anything new to the table. Which is okay if you're going for a shot-for-shot remake, but you're not. Well, Eli Roth's original Cabin Fever actually really paid attention to the characters, making them all very different. You actually feel with them. You know who these people are, and you care if they die. And they have, like, they talk about things that interest them and they fascinate them. This feels rushed. This feels stupid. These characters are annoying and they don't go anywhere. You're actually waiting for them to die because they bore the crap out of you. Second of all, the production costs seem to be even like cheaper than the original. You don't do a remake of a movie that looks pretty okay and make it look very shitty. The other problem is, while Eli Roth's Cabin Fever really relies on its comic relief, you have these funny situations happening all the time. You have this jock, you have the kids trying to have sex. It's all like, has its comic relief everywhere. This one takes itself so seriously. And with its bland characters, you're just bored. Because you don't feel with anybody. And you don't care for anyone. And you're like just so annoyed because It wants to be so serious. Pseudo-seriosity just makes it fucking ridiculous. They didn't even try. Like, they just wanted to cash in on the name Cabin Fever. Couldn't they just haven't made another sequel? Cabin Fever 5 would have been totally fine. And not this, I want to be a serious movie film. It is so annoying. Number 4, the Poltergeist remake, 2015. Oh my god, where do I start with this one? Well, first of all, you have really shitty actors compared to the original. The original, like, you really get to know the family. They take their time to introduce every character so you know how everybody feels about everybody. And they're really, like, you feel for them. You really care for this family. Here, everything happens so fast. You don't really, like, get to know anybody before things start going on. And the kids, they involve these kids in this movie way too often. Like, the boy, the brother of the girl who gets kidnapped, is just so fucking annoying. He's, like, scared of every little shit. Like, I mean, if I'd fucking fart in front of him, he'd probably piss his pants. And then you have this clown who isn't scary at all. I know clowns can be scary as fuck, but this clown, he just bores you out of your mind. And the thing is, they also try to involve, like, new technology, phones, computers, while in the original it's just the TV, and somehow it just feels so overblown. It's just, like, way too much CGI. Too many jump scares. Characters are also so one-dimensional. And the thing is, what I like about the original is when they go into the spirit world. You don't see anything of the spirit world. The entire spirit world is completely left to the imagination. Here they go into the spirit world with a fucking drone. And then you see everything. And it's just a bunch of cheesy CGI. Like, even if they'd at least try to make it look a little like that other dimension in Insidious, it would have worked. You have no contact with the story, you have no contact with the characters. It's all just, like, you're expecting to see a movie, but what you get is, like, a bunch of fireworks thrown into your face. So, I really didn't like this one at all. Number 3, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2003. You know, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre used to be one of my favorite franchises. It actually used to be my favorite franchise. Until this one came along. This movie practically marked the spot where everything called the Texas Chainsaw Massacre turned out to be pure crap. Everything after that was like a total shithole. And I don't know what happened. I really don't know what happened, because the first 4 parts, other than part 3, which was a little lame, were actually very good movies. They were all a lot of fun. And what bothers me the most is what they did to Leatherface. What I always liked about Leatherface in the old Texas Chainsaws is that he is loud. He is running around, screaming. He's like a baby with a fucking chainsaw. He's like totally out of control. You don't know what the fuck he's going to do. And all of a sudden, in these new Texas Chainsaw movies, and especially in the 2003 remake, you have this totally slow-moving Leatherface who doesn't make any noise at all. He's just like cold and dark. And you know, you have Jason, you have Michael Myers from Halloween. They all move slow. They are all don't say a word. They are all very dark figures. And what made Leatherface so special was that he was noisy. He was like this kid. And this totally ruined it completely. It totally changed the structure of the original Texas Chainsaw movies. Because it was usually like this classic formula. These kids get to the forest, around the cabin. They all get killed, except one chick who survives. And she gets caught in the cabin. And the other half of the movie is her trying to get away. This one just stretches the killing of the kids way too long. And Jessica Biel, she's just not a good final girl. I don't believe her when she's scared. She's not really anybody to place in a horror movie, I think. Jessica Biel should like stick to her romantic comedies and crap like that because she doesn't belong in this world. She's just way too bland, way too smiley-faced. It's not... Texas Chainsaw isn't something Jessica Biel would do. And as I said, this killed the entire franchise for me. When I see a trailer for a new Texas Chainsaw movie, I'm like, oh God, are you killing Leatherface even more now? And it was like just this huge fucking disappointment. Number 2, Psycho from 1998. Now, I am not somebody who has a big problem with shot-for-shot remakes because this movie generally really is just a shot-for-shot remake of the original Hitchcock classic. It's just like trying to upgrade the movie, giving it some color, giving it like a new appearance, making it happen in today's modern world. I don't see there being a huge problem with that. Things like that were done before, like for example, Funny Games. Since the original was German, it was just like adapted shot for shot in an English version, and that was okay. That was just like simply okay because they were just making the movie for an American audience. It was the exact same film. But here, you have a totally different problem. I really don't mind the shot for shot. Not at all. But the problem is, you're casting Vince Vaughn as Norman Bates. Why? That's like fucking casting Jim Carrey to play the rapists in Last House on the Left. Why would you do that? It's like you're taking somebody who makes comedy movies and trying to make him be the creepy fucking ass Norman Bates. It's just like somebody's trying to make a parody, a joke, but no, this is serious. Vince Vaughn running around with his fucking cowboy hat being Norman Bates. This is just too wrong. You know, Norman Bates is supposed to be this fragile, skinny, unsure character, and then you have this jock-like fat fuck of Vince Vaughn, who you know from like movies like The Wedding Crashers and shit like that. It is just so fucking wrong. Then you have Anne Hesh playing Janet Leigh, who is so miscast. It's like making fucking... I don't even know what! It is atrocious. It is just like such an insult to the original. Because it is so far away from Psycho with its bad casting.
Only at the ear.
I'm not buying anything. I'm not buying any of the acting here at all. Even though we have top actors, and they're just like misplaced. Avoid at all costs, seriously. Now, before we get to number 1, I know you were expecting the Nightmare on Elm Street remake somewhere, but even though I don't think it was that great, I don't think it was that shitty either, because I like the idea of giving Freddy this new look, this new approach to him, and telling this backstory with molesting the kids and stuff. I didn't think that was a bad idea. You're also probably expecting Black Christmas. I didn't find that bad either. I know, you're all hating me. But trust me, number fucking 1 really has it in store. Really fucking badly. And the worst horror film remake of all time ever is Martyrs from 2015. The original film from 2008 was a French film, and it was like one of the biggest masterpieces of its time. It actually made way for many other French horror movies to reach international success. We started getting directors like Alexandre Aja, for example, with his great movie High Tension, and films like Inside. All Martyrs made way for them to happen. And this 2015 remake, it is the biggest insult you can give to this movie. First of all, you take the whole entire message of the movie, which is very nihilistic and makes you like think about your existence, and totally turn it into something else. It's more focused on like this religious view of things, of the friendship between the two girls, while the original is very clear about abuse and about the point of life. The ending is actually like so insulting. The acting is atrocious, like disgustingly atrocious. You don't take anything that happens in this movie seriously. And especially like there is a creature in this movie, like in the original, where you don't know if the girl is imagining it or if it is really there, until it is some point revealed that she's imagining it. But like in this remake, it's, you know straight away that this girl is just imagining this creature. It like takes away all the mystery, all the brutality, everything that makes Martyrs special, and turns it into schlock, turns it into American bullshit.
Please be there.
It is, again, they tone down the violence in this movie, and the violence here is necessary to notice how raw and how evil this world is and where these characters are placed. And toning the violence down just makes it cheesy. They take like one of the most deepest movies I know and turn it into this cheesy American mess. It is just completely awful. This film is as shitty as cancer, for fuck's sake. And only if you have the cancer yourself. If one of your friends has the cancer, the movie is still shittier than your friend having the cancer. That is how shitty this movie is. It is remarkable how insulting and how disgraceful this movie is to the original. It is just... ugh! I can't get over it! This is like remaking Titanic, and the ship doesn't sink. This is like remaking Friday the 13th and nobody dies. This is awful. This is... and they actually have the audacity to throw in the semi-happy ending in there. I encourage all of you to destroy copies of this movie. Don't waste any money on it. Destroy it. If you really have to see it, download it legally. Don't waste your money on this crap. This is the biggest insult an original piece could ever get. This is the worst of remakes. The bottom line, it doesn't get shittier than this. Avoid Martyrs. Avoid it. The 2015 version sucks so much ass. Now I've talked myself in a huge rage. Maybe this wasn't a good idea. Well, that would be all for now. I hope I pissed enough people off to leave some comments down there. And please subscribe. And tell us what else we should review. And this was the Movie Void. You will see me when you see me. And I bid you fare thee well.
I'll be back.